Welcome back to the third episode of Hack the Hill podcast. I'm joined by
Priyanka.
Daniel.
Alae, happy to be here.
We're glad to have you, man. You guys want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm the development director at Hack the Hill. Glad to be here.
And I am the chair. My exact position name is chair of official meetings. I basically run meetings at Hack the Hill.
Nice.
I mean, with a bunch of us and all the directors, sometimes it can be hectic. So you have a loud group, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough job.
It can be.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say like a week in the life of your role is like?
At this point, it's a lot of meetings, just talking with people, working with other directors, and trying to check in with my managers, check in with the coordinators on the team, make sure that everything's going well.
Yeah.
Don't do a lot of coding anymore, but it's mostly just like oversight of the development projects we have.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, so for me, I don't have that much of a commitment on a weekly basis in the sense that unless it's an all-hands meeting, as in a meeting where everyone at the organization is involved and there are formal motions that are introduced to vote on major decisions of the organization, or if it's a director meeting where major decisions have to be made, again, through motions and stuff like that, then I will be chairing that meeting. It's usually once or twice a month. So obviously, like, I don't really have a frequent involvement with hackathon planning. I'm still in the loop with what most directors decide, what's happening with various teams. Obviously, I am not as in depth in it as actual managers and directors and volunteers.
Yeah.
But I always like chip in, like engage in discussion, stuff like that. And what my role requires the most is not involvement on a weekly basis. Therefore, like, obviously, I don't do that. It's more so having good knowledge of processes, mechanisms, policy, the scope of the organization, just being able to yield back to a set of codified rules when stuff goes south. You can't rely on people's emotions or just casual conversations when it's really important matters and there's disagreements. You need to yield back to something that everyone agrees on. And that's the Hack the Hill Constitution. So my job is to just uphold it during meetings when like the major decisions are made and make sure that everyone can contribute to the conversation fairly. That's pretty much it.
Okay, nice. So obviously you mentioned that you have a little bit more of like a laid back or passive role right now, but were you more involved in Hack the Hill originally before you became chair?
So last year, I technically was. At first, I was marketing director. But then because of too many commitments and a very busy workload and schedule, I had to drop that. Then I was kind of assigned as the informal policy guy. Because back then Hack the Hill was just a student activity that just had a centralized Discord server. It was not a full-on legally established not-for-profit. And just like Daniel over here, I like policy. And not a lot of people in engineering like policy. So you'll find a lot of people that will like kind of delegate that because they don't want to have to deal with it. Thankfully, you have weirdos like me and Daniel that like that.
That's awesome.
Like last year, we worked on the privacy policy together.
Exactly.
For Hack the Hill to make sure that we are coming to an agreement with the people that sign up for hackathon with what we're going to use their data and all that. So that was cool.
Nice. Okay. Daniel, why don't you speak a little bit about your history with Hack the Hill, how you got involved, you know, like what your background is.
That's an interesting story. I want to hear it.
So originally, like I joined the university last year, and I was like, I saw that Hack the Hill was a thing. Kind of was originally, I think the marketing plan last year was really cool. They had like small little hints throughout, and like I wasn't sure what Hack the Hill was, but I knew that it existed. And then they started talking about it on one of the Discord servers I was on, the Computer Science Club Discord server, and I was like, that sounds cool. I want to join. But then they said that they had a whole big team of 50 people, and they didn't have room for me. And I didn't give up though. So later on, like a few days later, like registrations were open, and I was going to apply to join the hackathon as a hacker. And I saw a small issue with the forum, and I sent that to Disala, and I got added to the team on the development team because he thought that my skills and ability to identify that issue and propose a fix for it was potentially valuable. So I joined the development team as a coordinator, and I worked there for a little bit, just doing a lot of like trying to find tasks to do. Actually, there wasn't a lot that was readily assigned to me. They had already done a lot of the work on the website and stuff.
Yeah.
But then kind of around the end, so I joined in the end of November. So around end of December, I started working on refactoring the website. I thought that, I could generate the website statically instead of having it be, dynamically rendered on the front end. And that ended up bringing in a 11 times increase in like page loading speeds. So I brought that forward and trying to work with the director for that. And then eventually what happened was a lot of people on the team had other commitments they were trying to attend to. So the director that was on the team before resigned, and that's when I got appointed as the development director, because they were looking for someone that was already involved in the team and that was up and coming, and I was the person, I imagine. So I got essentially called into a call late at night and told about this, and it was a quick thing. So I got added as a development director, and I've been doing that ever since I believe it was January.
Yeah.
So I brought the website refactoring thing to its end, and then the end of January we had this. Well, it wasn't my idea. It was brought forward by some of the other directors to create a event management system for Hack the Hill.
Nice.
So that project kind of was a little bit loosely formed when it was brought to me, but we kind of refined it a little bit, and then within like a month or so, we had a new development team at that point. A lot of like people had left from the old team, so we had people coming in from other teams, and a lot of people that are on the team now were some of that original team. Some of them became directors, even other stuff. But that team essentially worked really hard for like a month in February to create the entire Track the Hack application that we have now. So that was built in like a month.
Wow. It's impressive.
And then, yeah, that was kind of participated in running the hackathon. And then throughout this year, I've been doing a lot of work, refactoring some of the code that obviously had some issues because it was built so quickly, and building a new website for the 2024 hackathon, leading the team for that. And then another thing I did a lot this summer was a lot of before we appointed Alae as the chair, we kind of did a lot of constitution-related work, policy-related work.
Policy.
And I led the charge on incorporating Hack the Hill as a not-for-profit corporation, which was really fun and really interesting.
And I heard you did that in 3 days, which is pretty impressive.
It was a longer process than that. Originally, the idea kind of came up, and I think it was like early in the summer, and then just convincing the other directors took a little while that it was a good idea. And then once we had kind of established that it was worth doing, a lot of research, a lot of trying to find out how much different things would cost, what was involved. Reading the Not-for-Profit Corporations Act is kind of a dense document, so that was fun. And then eventually kind of getting everybody on board, signing it, sending that in, and then once we had everything kind of sorted out, getting everything approved was really quick, because it was basically a few days.
Nice.
Recruiting this guy last year was probably one of the best decisions Hack the Hill ever made historically.
Wow.
He is extremely passionate.
So Daniel is Hack the Hill certified.
Yes, yes. Well, I think
Nice. He's goated.
I think everybody can agree on that.
Yeah.
Everybody on the team can agree on that.
For sure.
As a first year, the expertise he brought to the web dev team, or specifically the dev team, was insane.
Yeah, we can definitely tell your passion, both of you, for policy. What would you say gravitated you both towards that? I know it can be pretty dense, as you said, very legally jargoning heavy and whatnot. What would you say really just captured your attention from policy?
Do you want to go first, or do I go first? It's your call.
Sure, I can go first. I'd say my interest in policy more I've always been a little bit interested in it, and kind of just reading over, when I joined IEEE in February, reading over that constitution for that, and that was a lot of fun, and just reading over stuff. But I'd say when I kind of realized that this is something that I actually enjoy was when I joined the Yosu board of directors. I don't want to talk about that too much here because I was told not to talk about Yosu, but when I joined the Yosu board of directors, that was really insightful in terms of how not-for-profit corporations should be run and the advantages of doing that. So a lot of the inspiration for incorporating came from that experience, and some of the the friends I made there, and the different extracurriculars I participated in. This summer I went to a moot court competition.
Nice.
Just, different things like that kind of bring me into that legal policy world.
Yeah, no, moot is awesome. I love debate. That's awesome. Yeah, what about you?
I've heard you're considering law school.
I have been considering it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's another degree after this.
Insane. Wanting to do engineering and then going through law school. First of all, you're every immigrant parent's dream. Like I hope I hope you know that.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. I mean, my parents didn't actually really support me going to software engineering, to be honest.
They
Oh
didn't.
man.
Fair enough. Interesting.
No. I mean, like when I
You
chose
should
it
meet all
and
our parents then.
when
I
I-
love you.
when I chose it and I told them this is what I want to do, obviously they support 100%, but like I was questioned if that's really what I want to do with my life. Like,
Right.
Fair enough. No, that's valid.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing, it's a good backup. But yeah, I guess as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't specific to starting being involved
Right.
in terms of extracurriculars and student organizations in university that I had like developed a passion for policy, or I guess politics and geopolitics in general. I've always been into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My dad is a big political nerd,
Nice.
and he turned me into a big political nerd, but kind of indirectly. Like we would spend, like I spent like my childhood and like teenage years like doing a lot of debates with him and like just
Yeah.
lunch table politics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I kind of got into it on my own, like without my dad, I guess, drawing that path for me.
Yeah.
He would just like tell me about stuff he knew, like his opinions on like complex topics, whatever. And I'd be like, okay, like how do you even arrive at these conclusions? Like what's your process, whether it's your thought process or like
Very
your,
philosophical.
Yeah.
Right up my alley. Love that. One day we should get together and just debate. I would love that. That
I'll
would
be
be awesome.
I'll be down for it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, I hope we're not debating politics today.
No, we're not. We're
we're
not.
gonna stray away from that now,
course.
and we're gonna move on to the next talking point.
I'm open to it. I guess where I was getting with this is that
Yeah.
I've always been like this, even outside of like extracurricular involvement.
Yeah.
And even to this day, if it's not dealing with policy at Hack the Hill or IEEE or other organizations, like I spend hours watching edutainment videos on YouTube about geopolitics.
Yeah.
Like Wendover Productions,
Love Wendover
Alternative
Productions.
History Hub. Like these are channels, like it's a very specific niche of like viewers on YouTube that know exactly what I'm talking about. And if they know one channel, they probably know the other 25.
I think we watched similar YouTube videos.
Yeah, very like oversimplified, like very likely.
It's great that we have you two together. You have lots in common,
Yep.
lots to talk about, lot to bounce off each other. Very interesting. Rabih, do you have any questions for them?
Yeah, not necessarily a question, but I'd like to add, like
Yeah.
he said, he's the best recruit that Hack the Hill could have ever made, and the skills he brought. You're undermining that was his first semester of university.
That's what I'm saying.
That's incredibly impressive.
I think I did. Okay, I didn't mention that he was in first year, but
Yeah.
fair. First semester
First
specifically.
semester
Wow.
of software engineering,
And to
I
be
couldn't
so
even write Hello
involved.
World.
Exactly.
He came, he built
An entire website
exactly, and
that I cannot build in fourth year.
To be fair, like the summer before that, I'd been working as a back-end web developer. So I already had some
Wow.
professional experience.
So, question for you: how common do you think that is for high schoolers to do?
Not like so common, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you give yourself the credit.
No, yeah.
No, of course, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't just come into university and like just start like learning this stuff on the spot. Like I'd already had doing that for like a few years beforehand.
Yeah, still, it's very impressive, to see someone right out of high school coming into university and getting involved right away. That's impressive.
I started my degree with like 15, 20 hours of programming experience prior. And it was like just basic Python, Hello World, and understanding how if statements work. So like, and even then, like for a lot of first years, they start programming their first semester when they take like ITI 1120 or whatever equivalent course they take, right?
Yeah.
So like at your level, you were basically already a semi-professional, if not like.
You were already a third year experienced
So wait,
software engineering student when you came in.
One thing I always wonder is, how do people know that they want to do this if they haven't done it before, like coming to a school?
They hear stereotypes. It pays well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a stereotype, but
Because like like when I was younger, I wasn't like thinking I was going to go with software engineering. I thought maybe something else in engineering. I was thinking maybe mechanical engineering, other stuff. The only reason why I chose software is because that was like the main thing I spent my time doing when I was trying to figure out what to apply to in like in grade 11.
I
Like that was why. I don't think that I would have chosen software engineering if it hadn't been something I'd already been doing before coming here.
that's valid.
Fair.
No, I think for a lot of people, they get into it for the wrong reasons. or at least they don't do enough research to know like
I mean, you see the day in the life of a Google intern, and then you get hyped. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
Unlimited food, free gym, whatever. Like the stuff they have in the Silicon Valley is just insane.
exactly.
But I think for a lot of people like that, and that's why like the dropout rate is insane.
Yeah.
People just get into it for the wrong reasons, and like Daniel's right. You have to maybe not have programming background necessarily, but like understand that you should have an initial interest and passion for it to be able to succeed in it.
Yep.
Agreed.
Totally.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You came in your first year,
Yeah.
and then
Dominated.
all of a sudden you're a director, and now you're leading how many? 20?
Oh yeah,
people?
Dev is a huge team, huh?
Dev has become a very big team. Yeah. I think there's
How
18
are you
people close to
managing-
me. Yeah.
20 people. I think that's like insane. And when you said like I don't code much, it sounded like my manager at work, like they've coded for 15 years of their life. It's like now I don't code anymore. I just manage. So
I have a hard
How are
time
you managing 20
justifying
people?
coding too much because I know that my coordinators are on the team for multiple reasons. But I had an interview process recently, like adding new people to the team, and the main reason that stuck out is they're there to learn. And if I'm taking those coding tasks away from them, I'm not giving them the opportunity to learn. So I have a trouble justifying, doing it myself.
I respect that.
Because he already knows he doesn't need to learn.
Well,
Yeah.
I do need to learn, but I'm not learning by I think that in terms of like what's available to learn on the Track the Hack application, the website that we have, it's more valuable for me to be able to kind of steer the team in the right direction and really delegate the tasks of managing the team to the managers.
Yeah.
And to delegate the all of the contributions, all of the like implementation to the coordinators on the team, because I mean, there's obviously a little bit of work that I do on my side. I think one of the main things that I still do that is not exactly director stuff is I do a lot of the code review. But
Nice.
in terms of actual like implementing features, I try to let the people on my team do it. Not yesterday. It was the day before yesterday. I actually like opened up the code base for the first time in a few months and wrote some code, and it was a lot of fun. I love our code base. Like the Track the Hack app code base. Like it's one of the best ones I've ever like had the opportunity to work in, and like diving back into it is so nostalgic. But I was kind of we had some internal tool for sponsorship email drafting that I was just refining and all that to merge that pull request. So just having the chance to like go in and take a look at it and review a few things, it was great.
Yeah, it's good to see that the dev team is so big, but they're not only there and doing stuff for the actual hacker and organizing, but you're also helping build certain tools for other teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing that, so, like, it's amazing.
There's also
Yeah.
a form of DevOps, which is like insane to me that there is somewhere where you have the opportunity to do DevOps and like a student activity, because like it's such a, how do I put this, not serious discipline, because obviously like software development is pretty serious too, but software development is accessible.
Yeah.
DevOps is the kind of stuff you do for like multi-million-dollar software projects that like need to go into production. So the fact that like there is an opportunity for people to do DevOps on campus
Yeah.
is solid. It's incredible.
We have like so we have sub teams on the development team, and one of the sub teams is the infrastructure team, and the infrastructure team is essentially just DevOps.
yeah, makes sense.
So we have a few people working on that, and also shout out to Steph for some of the work he's been putting into the DevOps side of things.
Shout out
Nice.
Steph.
Shout out
So
Steph.
how would you say that people could get a chance to be on the development team? Let's say, like what type of traits would you be looking for? Maybe personality, maybe skills.
I think the biggest thing is kind of a motivation to learn. Interest in the stuff we're doing,
Yeah.
interest in learning the technologies that we use.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're interested in learning how to program, but you're not interested in the technologies we use, unfortunately, like that's not going to really help you as much.
Yeah.
Just definitely interested in like experiencing, full stack web development, front end development, the DevOps stuff. And there is also like, it's one of the more technical teams. So there is a skill threshold that we look at, in terms of existing experience.
Yeah.
It's not super high. People that are coming in from first year, second year definitely have the opportunity to contribute to the team. I think in terms of, and also this is part of the reason why I was able to join the team and all that so early, in terms of what sort of skills you need for a development team at Hack the Hill, they aren't a lot of the skills that you learn in university courses. I don't think there are many university courses that teach, we're using technologies that came out months ago. Like we're not using technologies that came out 20 years ago that they teach in classrooms. We're using new stuff.
Java 8.
Yeah, we're using literally stuff that has come out like within the last few years. And if you want the opportunity to learn that stuff, then this is the perfect place for it.
Yeah.
And if you have experience with JavaScript, with TypeScript, with React, that you've developed on your own projects or other work experience, then that's what you can bring to the team. But if you're someone that has just been following like the courses that they offer at the university, and that's your main experience with programming, a lot of the time that doesn't end up being sufficient to justify being on the team, because people that know a lot of Python or a lot of Java honestly can't contribute very much to the team, because there's not much that you can do with Python and Java on the development team at Hacktail.
That's the thing. It's a good opportunity for people who want to get specifically into web dev, that specific, I guess, industry of the tech sector or the software industry more broadly. For software, to be honest, there are other avenues through which you can improve that, on campus. There's JMTS teams, there's plenty of coding clubs,
Right.
There's a lot of projects going on campus, but it's specifically a lot of back-end software, not web dev oriented, and it's also embedded dev and stuff like that, especially for competitive teams. Obviously embedded systems are much more prevalent in that area, but specifically for web dev, competitive engineering teams don't have websites,
And even if they do, it's not client facing. They're
Exactly.
building an application that 600 people are going to use.
Yep.
And it can't crash on the day of the hackathon.
yeah.
So that's a big responsibility
That's true, you're
on their end. So having that client facing, most companies sell a product of some sort to people.
Right.
And to be involved in a team that is client facing and not just a backend where you're building a cool
Exactly.
product. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's
just two different things. So just getting that experience working with a 20 people team and divided into sub teams, I'm sure infrastructure needs to contact with different teams. I think that's a really good first step for whoever's trying to get an internship after
Exactly.
your second year.
Right.
I think that's the thing. A lot of web dev related positions within student organizations, and I've been in a couple of student organizations, right? So I've seen it. Whether it's our engineering society, whether it's IEEE Ottawa, they have websites and they have a position. Usually they call it webmaster or manager of IT.
Right.
That kind of oversees an already existing website.
And he just maintains it, updates dates,
Exactly.
adds an event.
Change
It's nothing
pictures
crazy.
of execs.
Right.
It's I'm not into web dev at all. I could do that.
Yeah.
So what you're describing specifically, it's very
It's very client facing.
exactly, which is what we find in the industry and which is what employers care about when hiring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we offer though is you're talking about backend. We do offer the backend opportunities and that's actually something we offer that is a little bit unique compared to a lot of the other positions where you're doing mostly front-end web development. The Track the Hack application we have is definitely a full stack application. You have the opportunity to work with databases, have the opportunity to work with backend Node.js code. We have someone right now working on a AWS Lambda written in Python. It's not just front-end. We have a lot of back-end opportunities, but I still call it web development because if you're...
It is web dev. You're right. Yeah.
So
Falls under that alley.
people think of web dev as front-end.
No.
There is a lot of front-end on the team. We make a website, of course, but the team is not a front-end team. We're a full-stack team, and when you join the team, I kind of expect you to have enough skills that you could contribute to kind of any part of the team. I haven't really been looking for people that are specifically for one of the teams. Everyone on the team has at least some knowledge of front end, some knowledge of back end, and some other knowledge. And some people that are on the team, have told me that their interest is, a different thing. They're interested in cryptography, or they're interested in embedded or something else. But they have enough experience to contribute to the web development team, and maybe they come into this and then they realize something they like. It's not necessarily just people that are entirely focusing their careers on web development.
Because for a lot of people, they really don't know what they want to do exactly. Even if they have a more specific direction, I want to go into web dev. You mentioned it, web dev is full stack.
Yeah.
You could do front end, you could do back end, you could do databases.
Yeah.
Technically, there is DevOps involved in web dev, even though it's not development, but it's extremely related. And there's also all the cybersecurity aspect and stuff like that. And that's something that people are also heavily into. And you can't know what niche specialization you'll get into unless you touch a little bit of everything.
For sure.
Yeah, I have a saying: you won't know what you won't want to do unless you try it. Like I did
Yeah.
3-4 co-ops, QA, front end, whatever, until I found something that I really liked. I thought I would love front end. I did front end for 8 months. I'm like, nah, not for me.
You're like,
So-
man,
So I still enjoy it, but I can't do it. I can't see myself doing it
are you
forever.
CG or SCG?
SEG.
Okay.
And so now I'm doing project management, which is something I love. So
Awesome.
definitely get your feet wet.
Exactly.
Try
Yeah.
different things. That's the time to be when you're in university. Try different things.
Yeah.
See what you like best.
Oh yeah, Hack the Hill is like a great opportunity. Obviously, you guys talked about there's so many different things that you could do, even just within development. But you had mentioned that, you know, like you look for people who have a motivation to learn. Obviously, we see that in you. But what would you say,
Okay.
for both of you, what would you say like one of the biggest learning curves were with stepping into your new role as development manager and chair?
I'll go first this time. I'll be honest, for chair specifically, like there wasn't that big of a learning curve in the sense that I've done this so many times.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to it at this point.
Okay.
I can, I guess, go back to, sorry, previous experiences I've had
Yeah.
where I've had to, like, that have shaped me into the policy nerd that I am right now. So I've been involved since my first year.
Yeah.
And for context, I started school outside Canada because I'm a COVID era first year. And for context, for those who don't know, I'm an international student.
Uh-huh.
I lived in Morocco and then Belgium during my first year.
Right.
And I took my classes online in a time zone that is 5 hours ahead or 6 hours ahead, depending on whether I was in Belgium or Morocco,
Yeah.
ahead of Eastern Standard Time.
Oh,
So,
man.
like, just for context, my classes would start at 7 p.m. I had midterms at 2 a.m. I had a
Wow.
final that started at 1 and finished at 3.
No.
So yeah, that was basically my first year. That being said, it didn't stop me from being involved because I know for a lot of people, like that was challenging. And it's not like I'm giving you future advice because I hope we don't get into another pandemic again.
Yeah.
But that being said, if there's barriers for you to connect or network or be involved because you can't be on campus all the time, there is online avenues you can utilize.
Yeah.
Discord was really big for me. That's why I made my first university friend ever. Shout out to Alex. That's where I would join these organizations and conduct meetings. And like, obviously back then it was virtual events and stuff like that. So like in my first year, I was just not scared of DMing people or
Right.
going on a server and just saying hi. And that like set me up really well because when I moved to Canada in late 2020, was it late 2020? It was late 2021. It's been like 2.5 years ago now, almost 3 years. I had already a bunch of friends,
Yeah.
like super close with them.
That's
I had
awesome.
never met them in person.
Yeah.
A lot of them ended up being shorter than expected.
Oh, okay. Shade.
No,
I
the
don't
people,
know, at this moment feels like deja vu.
the people
I feel like you've said that before. I don't know why.
maybe. And people also get surprised by my height, but like, yeah. Anyways,
But how was that change for you?
so yeah, in person, like we had a rough transition from online to in person. Like the moment the pandemic ended and we were back.
No, it's just you, like, it's a whole different country. It's right? Like, how was all of that for you?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it was pretty chill.
Yeah?
The reason for that is because like I'm half Belgian, right? So I grew up part of
Sick.
my life in a Western country.
Right.
Not only that, Morocco is one of the most westernized countries in the Arab world. So like, especially if you grew up in one of the major cities,
Right.
you're likely exposed to mostly French culture, but like lots of different like Western influences. And yeah, like I went to an international school. That's why like I speak English with, like I know I have a tinge of an accent, but it's not like the thick Moroccan accent.
No, no.
Yeah, like the transition was pretty chill for me, not gonna lie. Like
Yeah.
the
I mean,
only
that's
thing,
good.
the only thing I had to adapt to is how like car-centric Ottawa is, because I grew up in cities where transit was much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like a whole other topic.
No, yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry to cut you off. I know. We'll continue on obviously all that in a bit, but I
Yeah.
just want to hear, you know, obviously your answer to the
Your turn,
question.
man.
The question was,
What was the
Learning
biggest
curve.
learning curve?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like just one. Doesn't have to be the biggest. but-
interesting. So, I'm gonna make a confession. Before I joined the Hack the Hill team,
Yeah.
I had never written any React code.
Yeah. I
Damn.
don't know what the implication of that is.
So like
but
everything that Hack
everyone's
the Hill
reacting
makes is
kind of-
React. Like we have
You learned
our
it in 2
website.
days.
our website is React and our Track the Hack application is React.
I see,
So I
okay.
hadn't written any React. I hadn't written any Next.js, which is what we use for the Track the Hack application. I hadn't written any. I'd written some Node.js. I'd written a lot of JavaScript. I had a lot of experience with JavaScript and TypeScript.
Totally. Yep.
So I learned that kind of on the team. How to do like React development was essentially something I learned on the team. And I think the biggest thing I learned on the team, and I'm still learning and I'm still struggling with, but is how to manage people. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I've also had other opportunities in other student orgs to also learn this, but I think that still like trying to run an organization, run a corporation at this point, and like as a director and just managing people and making sure that it's like an enjoyable thing, but that everything is happening legitimately and that people are getting work done and all that. It's been a learning process for me.
Yeah, especially with such a huge team like development, it can definitely be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, people's management is
yeah.
like a kind of a key, especially in where you want to go, right? You want to be a lawyer,
Yeah.
even as a software engineer, to being well-spoken and knowing how to adapt to different people. Like you said, you have different team, all of them have skills. You kind of want to adapt to how you act with different people. That,
Yeah.
like
And being
skill
able to
have.
communicate like very niche and complex stuff
Yeah.
to non-technical people. Like that's part of it's going to be, if you're going to be working in software or a related tech field, you might have PMs, you might have superiors that you report to that do not have an engineering or technical background. So like that, what you mentioned specifically is really
Yeah.
important.
Like I'm having to learn that right now because
Yeah,
coming
I-
from a technical
I think
background, now
everyone
I'm
does,
doing
yeah.
like technical project management, and there's some people who've never like touched code at all, and I kind of have to word it in a way that makes sense to them, which is much harder than what you think it is.
And I think honestly the best way to learn that is through stuff like Hack the Hill, because
Yeah.
we have people like Daniel and his team that work on very technical stuff that at some point might have to integrate their workflow with other teams.
Like sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly. And not everyone on the sponsorship team has a tech or AECS background. That's electrical engineering and computer science, by the way. So like you can hear like at university and might as well learn it now than when you're in the industry and you have like actual real life corporate responsibilities.
Right.
It's tricky to communicate very niche and technical concepts to other technical people as well, depending on like the different things you work on,
Right.
and communicate it to non-technical people. That's like another art of itself. And it's only stuff, in my opinion, that you can learn by experience, like through practice. You cannot learn this like in a textbook. It's just impossible.
Yeah. You need to get your hands dirty
1000%.
to,
Yeah,
to,
no.
to see the ins and outs.
Yeah. No, yeah. Obviously, like that can be very tough, you know. Communication is a huge factor in working with literally any team, even being just a team member. Huge deal. What other sort of, I guess, personal or sociable traits would you say that you value in your team members? Because coming from our team, it's a bit smaller, so we got to know people a bit faster. But with such a huge team, you kind of do need to be a bit more sociable and personable. So how would you say your experience with that was, and what kind of skills would you say you need for that?
Interesting question. So to be honest, there's a lot of people on the team that I'm not going to get to know so well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because it's a big team and there's lots of people. So like we had team bonding recently, which was a lot of fun. We got to go out and do stuff as a team, but like not everyone showed up, of course, just because of different people have different schedules. It's really hard to get 18 people to show up to an event.
Yeah.
People's schedules don't work like that.
Especially in like such a demanding program.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so it's like there's always going to be people that I know more than other people. There's going to be people that I've maybe had like some sort of relationship before they join the team. There's going to be people that once they join the team, I become friends with them, and other people that I just work with more of on a professional basis. And I'd say like in terms of socializing with them and like making sure that it's a I'd say the priority really is making sure that the team is on the same page and working towards the same goals. And if we can do that by having fun too, that's even better. But
Yeah.
I'd say that's not like the biggest thing that I'm thinking of. I think the thing that I'm thinking of the most is how to make sure that everybody is, happy on the team, not that they are having other relationships. I don't know if that makes sense. I think the question's a bit hard to answer as well.
It is a difficult question, yeah.
It's a good question.
It was from my psych background, so I'm just trying to.
But no, that's fair.
No. Yeah,
They're here to because they want to contribute and learn,
Yeah.
and you want to make that the best possible experience for them.
Yeah.
For sure. And you're doing a great job, so that's awesome. Any questions from you?
How does it go from like a chair and a marketing? I know you're involved in a lot of clubs.
Yeah. Or
I'm
used to,
sure
yeah.
it has its pros and its cons.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What are some of them?
So I guess I'll walk you through
Because you're not just involved with different clubs, you're involved
In
as
different
things
Correct.
in different clubs.
Exactly. So the reason for that is I have a lot of interests, and that's it's a pro and a con, because you get to touch a little bit of everything, but you also end up in a situation where your schedule doesn't make any sense. You have 6 courses, work part-time. Yeah, not 6 courses anymore. I ended up dropping one, thankfully. Work 23 hours a week, plus all the involvements on extracurriculars. Yeah, not a lot of sleep. That being said, so first year, what I did was mostly, I was a first-year representative at ESS, so that's just holding the executive team accountable, debating, and it's very basic stuff when you're a first year.
Yeah.
And I was also the IEEE Commissioner of Translations, so I'm trilingual. French and Moroccan Arabic are my native languages, and of course I speak English. The tricky part with a lot of student organizations on this campus at U Ottawa specifically compared to other schools in Ontario is that we have to be bilingual in our communications and anything that involves some form of formal marketing needs to be officially bilingual.
Yep.
So a lot of orgs have either commissioner of translations or manager of translations. They call it different things. And yeah, it was literally just VP comms, writes a post caption in English. I have to translate it to French.
I remember you helped us hack the whole one with a lot of the translation.
Yeah.
I've been the VP comms who's not bilingual, so I know how that feels. I know how it feels to not have translations get back to you. It's so frustrating.
We got to give a big shout out to Lone Haven and Webrise. This podcast would not be here without them.
I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I was wondering, so you're doing project management, right?
Yeah,
So how...
technical project manager.
Yeah, so how exposed are you to the coding aspect of that?
My role is a bit interesting than just a regular project manager because I'm responsible for releasing a big chunk of our product, and I'm automating a lot of it. So I don't necessarily code on the product itself. I code and kind of automate that releasing process. I make sure that the emails that get sent out to our clients and our customers are good. So I'm still coding. It's not all I do is Jira and Confluence and just go to meetings. And that's what I like about it. I like coding, but I don't like it that much. I don't like it enough to just sit behind a screen and do it all day. It's not really my vibe. So that type of role helped me a lot, because that's kind of what I want to do. And I did it last summer for 4 months. And I kind of hate going back to school now because I wish I stayed there. But it's nice because I'm still doing it part-time.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I don't necessarily code on a product, but I still code on a day-to-day basis to make sure that product goes out smoothly.
Sounds like a bit like DevOps a little bit. And
Yeah, so I'm in very close contact with the DevOps team. Make sure the Jenkins job run properly, So...
But unlike
pretty
DevOps,
thick.
you actually talk to customers and other stakeholders.
a sales aspect to it too then.
Yeah, so
Marketing.
so for example, company could go in transition and now they're not calling it a name, so you have to change it everywhere because marketing said so, which is fair, right? Because they're steering the ship. First episode podcast, they're steering the ship in a better way that reaches their audience better. So I'm kind of involved in multiple teams, and that's why I really like it.
Yeah.
I love Hack the Hill as well because I get to be involved with the community and a dev, and I like being involved in multiple things. I don't like just getting tickets on Jira and have to do them all day, you know?
Yeah, okay. You talked a little bit about like the day-to-day kind of operations of your job, but steering it back to kind of like Hack the Hill, how would you guys say that the day-to-day of like the actual hackathon went from Hack the Hill 1? I know you were all involved. I wasn't really that involved. I ran like
That's
one
fine.
workshop, but you know,
Hey,
you
you were
were
still
there
there.
for all of the, I was there for an hour.
It counts.
I count, yeah, I was in it. But I wasn't there obviously for the day-to-day. You guys all were. How would you say the day-to-day of the actual event was going?
Who goes first?
At the event, interesting.
You go first.
So you're going first?
No, I said you go first.
Okay.
We'll go like this.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so like at the event, there was a lot of stuff going on. I thought like originally that I was gonna be feeling like I was missing out on like the hackathon experience, right? I did not. Like there was so many things going on. There was so much to do.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. You know, I definitely felt like I was doing a hackathon even if I wasn't creating a project.
Right.
And you know, leading up to that time, we had been spending a lot of time working on, you know, the Track the Hack application mostly, and really getting to see it in usage, getting to see it in on people's phones, getting to see, you know, everything working out was incredible. Having the opportunity to be there for that. There was a little bit of like last minute modifications and some database changes like during the event, which was not because we did something wrong in the first place, just because, you know, unforeseen things come up during the event.
Yeah.
Requirements have changed.
Troubleshooting.
On the
Yeah,
on the day of
You
the
have to be
hackathon.
agile. the
I
day
remember
of the
like we
event.
had
Project manager.
we had like a dancing thing in CRX on, I think it was the last night of the event, and I was just there with my laptop changing the database. I mean, I also did some dancing too, but
No, he's got his priorities straight.
no, but yeah, I remember like me and I was with Sahin, one of my managers currently. He wasn't a manager last year, but because we didn't have managers last year, that's why he wasn't a manager. But yeah, we were working together on the database like during the event. And then also just getting to do some of the work that's a little bit less team specific, doing some of the logistics related stuff, just being there. You know, at some points I had to like pick up some slack where there was different things that need to be taken care of,
Right.
and like helping out some of the hackers with, you know, various issues they had, and not a lot of sleep. That was kind of the experience. I think I got like 4 hours one night and then half an hour the next.
Yep.
Oh,
Been
Lord.
there.
Yeah.
I remember guarding the snack room and you were there like dead.
Oh yeah, you were there the whole night.
Yeah, I was there like from 12 a.m. to like 7
That was a great conversation though.
Yeah. That was sick. What about your dating?
Honestly, I had an incredible time. Like that's one.
Mhm.
I also have like a frame of comparison because again, I have attended a previous hackathon that is kind of like the informal predecessor to Hack the Hill,
Yeah.
where things were much more chaotic.
Right.
Like the event still went successfully, and we had $80,000 of sponsorship money, which is a lot of money, but money doesn't do everything. Organization and logistics and just good planning. To be fair, that hackathon we organized it in 50 days,
Wow.
but still, like Hack the Hill was a much more professional event, which one is good when you have multiple sponsors,
Yep.
and things kind of made sense. Obviously, you're always gonna have your like last minute things that were not planned, but even like the biggest events out there that require like millions of dollars to be planned,
Right.
something always comes up. So your goal is to have like a team, is to have
That can
systems
adapt.
Yeah.
that can adapt and that can be ready for those kinds of things and like react quickly. That's like the important part.
For sure.
And I noticed that with Hack the Hill, like there were issues during the hackathon. Don't get me wrong. There are probably going to be issues with this upcoming one as well. But I have full confidence in the team that anything that comes up, they will be able to adapt
Right.
and make sure that students like have a smooth experience at the end of the day.
Yeah. And what about you, Rabih?
Honestly, we, like he said, we started off with a teaser and it was like we had like a big campaign because I was in the
Yeah.
marketing, and we finally announced it, and just it was like a lot of work leading up to the actual event,
Yeah.
to the point where I walked into CRX and I saw everyone on their laptop coding happy for like 2-3 days. Just it was real all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to having that feeling this year again. 'Cause it was
Yeah.
incredible having 300 plus people inside of CRX,
Yeah.
excited to be there.
Yeah.
This is like, and it was midterm time as well. So they kind of dropped everything. So that was really nice to see.
You know what I like to call it? A factory of talent. Because like that's what it feels like. You see all these people in their study rooms like working hard, and it's like that times like I don't know, like 30, 40, 50 rooms, right? So it's
Yeah.
like it's a factory of people that are learning and just getting that talent, right? They're getting that practical experience through the hackathon. And it's true, like you're right, when you witness it with your own eyes, like you're not ready for it, even if you've attended large scale events before.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's one of like our unique selling position is because we've kind of created this community of such talented people that's going to be very valuable. They're going to be the next generation of coder, project managers, and I'm excited to have them again.
Yeah.
It's also great to see people like just like socializing and networking with sponsors.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people got jobs out of Hack the Hill, like at various points, which is also great to see because you're providing real value to a lot of students at this university that
Yeah.
like getting opportunities through that. We're also mentioning midterm season. I had a midterm during Hack the Hill, so I had to
heard that.
leave on the first day to go to a midterm,
Oh.
which was I also had a midterm the day before, like the Friday that Hack the Hill started. I had a midterm right before.
That's
Right
brutal.
before we
Man.
started
That
registering
is
people. Yeah,
brutal.
I
I
had
remember
two
that.
midterms like basically that
That's
weekend.
brutal.
And that it was tough. I remember like the second midterm I had come into it with like no sleep, no studying. I mean, I think I did actually pretty well in that midterm in the end.
I mean, you clutched that. There you go.
but like
Somehow.
Right?
it was still difficult for sure. Just having to balance school and Hack the Hill. I think that especially throughout that month I was talking about earlier, building the Track the Hack application.
Yeah.
I did not pay enough attention to my school.
Oh, no.
It's not good. Don't do that, kids.
Doing that as I'll be honest, like this full disclosure.
Yeah.
Doing that as a first year is pretty risky in my opinion.
It is.
You get better at it over time.
Yeah.
But like in his specific case, somehow my dude, it's like he's had like years of experience of like time management between extracurriculars, academics, maybe work if you're working at the same time in first year.
Yeah.
I was actually working about part time last
Yeah,
year.
that's
when I was
what I'm
Wow.
doing that
That's
too.
what I'm
I
saying.
mean, did we expect any different from Daniel? No, we didn't.
Go.
Honestly.
I mean, it's even more
Straight up.
difficult this year, to be honest. If you're like we're talking about managing time,
Right.
this year has been
You're better
quite
at
an
it.
adventure. I mean, I think I'm a little bit better at it,
Yeah.
but also I have way more to balance right now.
Right.
That's fair.
Right.
You know, I'm not just involved in Hack the Hill. I have like 4 other clubs that
Yeah,
I'm
you're also involved in a lot of
and
I promise
just
you,
like other
third year
stuff I'm trying to
past
do. Yeah.
that, and I'll be honest with you, like you kind of remind me of myself in first year because I was like super involved and like extremely passionate as well. Not as talented as you were. Like,
No,
again,
don't say that. Don't say
and then 30 hours of Python programming, knowing how to do like the little turtle thing, is not comparable to
that. Different
Not the
things,
turd.
like-
whatever. But the point that I was trying to make is that
Yeah.
you get, I think you're already geared for reaching that point where it just becomes auto drive, and it's for you. It's just a matter of time. You just need
Right.
the time and the experience.
Right.
I'm in fourth year. I'm not saying that I have it figured out completely, but honestly, like, it does require time and experience to just get better at time management.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially like again, full-time academics, part-time job. I don't even know what my involvements are. Kelpie Robotics, IEEE Ottawa, Hack the Hill. I was organizing a conference, a national conference. So it's like all these things. But again, you just get better at it.
Yeah.
And it's something that I would recommend even beyond university, like in the future.
100%.
If you guys have like causes or things you care about,
Yeah.
volunteer, join advocacy groups, join interest groups, stuff like that. And it's just a good way to maintain what you have in university, access to these clubs and like to these social hubs of like-minded people that have similar interests to you. But
Right.
do it when like you start your professional career. You obviously have less time to do that. But like that would be my biggest recommendation. And I see people making that mistake of the moment they're done with school, even though they were extremely involved, they like switch to like the 9 to 5 mindset of like
Right.
just working, going back home, working, going back home, maybe having a few like side hobbies here and there. My recommendation would be you need a space with other people to network, to learn
Right.
new things. And yeah, like there's plenty of opportunities out there. Like
Yeah.
I can give an example for me. I like high speed rail. I want high speed rail to be brought to Canada. There's an advocacy group that like lobbies for that and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So like just think of a cause, think of something, or not even like a political or advocacy cause. It can be like there are equivalents to like groups like IEEE and like tech groups and stuff like that in the professional world.
Real life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can call it that.
Yeah.
Sure. In real life, and it doesn't stop at university. That's like the broader point I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
I
no.
think university also does provide like a kind of a unique experience in some senses because
It does.
Yeah.
we are like
1,000%.
we're on a, like what is it like a few square like kilometers of land with
The density is
40,000
insane.
Yeah.
40,000 really intelligent, motivated young people coming there every day, and
Yeah.
so many things going. We have over 300 clubs here, and just having like the fact that like so many people are within like a walkable distance from each other every day and involved in different activities, like student governments and clubs and all that is kind of unique, I think, in some senses, because like what you're saying, 9-to-5 jobs and all that, people after university don't have as easy access to like joining organizations like that to
Yeah.
It's true.
to making out those like those changes, being involved in that sense. It's kind of a unique thing to
You
be a
gotta take
student.
advantage while
clearly-
we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, clearly you're very passionate about your extracurriculars. You know, I'm sure Rabih and I can definitely say the same.
Y'all are
Yep.
too.
But I just want to steer back to Hack the Hill of this year. I was actually wondering maybe what could we expect from this year's hackathon? You know, any inspo, any,
Don't spoil too
you know, any new workshops, anything, you know, like, and literally anything that you think that we can expect.
Should I go first?
Sure.
Yeah, so from my side, I mean, we do have like a slight involvement with the workshops and the development team, but I'm going to let, the people that are really organizing those talk about that.
Yeah.
And so from my side, it's mostly what we're going to be building in terms of the Track the Hack app and the website. I think we have a beautiful website. You can see sort of part of it right now online if you go to hackthehill.com, and the rest of it's being worked on and will be coming out soon. Shout out to Sasha for leading that. And then we have the Track the Hack application. We're looking to put a lot more on there this year, putting a lot, having the opportunity for people to register for the event on there. So really just building it out, making sure it's robust. I think that's like the main thing that we're working on for this year. I think that the development team, while we do provide an application that is, in the hands of users, we still kind of, compared to some of the other teams, operate a little bit behind the curtains.
Yeah.
In terms of what you're actually going to be like experiencing at the hackathon, I think that, while the application is important, I wouldn't say that it's the most visible part of the event, because there's other stuff like the workshops, like the presentations, like the food, like that stuff that you really kind of live. And the application, while it is like a very important part of the event and necessary for it to work, is more of a side piece in my opinion.
More of
like
a tool just
Yeah.
to help navigate you and live your best moment
for sure.
Yeah.
being in these workshops and the food and the ceremonies.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? What can we expect?
So I've actually had an idea of a workshop.
Right.
Technically, I'm not on any like active team of the hackathon.
Right.
That being said, I am an executive on IEEE Ottawa, and IEEE does partnerships with Hack the Hill all the time. Right. We have a recurring workshop that was created, again, another shout out, I'm sorry, by Ming, which is called Microchips and Dips, which is basically like microcontroller programming.
Right.
And the pun there is that you're eating chips and like salsa and whatever at the same time.
Yes.
And Ming is on a 16-month co-op.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And right now,
Definitely taking a
think
break
I'm-
from school.
I think one of the only few people that have an interest specifically in embedded systems, if we're doing hardware hacks again this year, which I'm not sure we're doing or not, that's why like it's only been an idea that I still have not even communicated with. Like, this is an exclusive you guys are getting.
Oh my god.
I haven't told this to
Guys, this is the 401.
Disala
This is
or
the
like
tea.
other directors, nor have I told it to
This is your
I-
sales pitch for the
IEEE
idea.
executive. Yeah, basically.
There we go. You have it
Thank
here
you for
first.
giving me a platform. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Again, it's not my idea. It's more so that I thought it was a genius event.
Right.
Hosted last year, and I would want to host it if Ming is not available. And again, it's going to be up to IEEE and if the directors agree to it and stuff like that.
Okay.
And yeah, we can make it as part of the series of workshops that Hack the Hill has. Another one would be, I've hosted a computer engineering career panel with IEEE last year. I think, and this is just my opinion, that a lot of the career panels we have are a bit too focused on software
Right.
and working in like like working software jobs, basically. I think because the hackathon offers options to people that don't want to go into software, maybe digital hardware, maybe a bit more like low in the stack, embedded programming, stuff like that. I think hosting a computer engineering career panel, like specifically for people that are in that niche of tech, specifically catered for them as an event for Hack the Hill, is something to consider. But again, these are just my ideas. They're not like full-fledged events that have been planned.
Yeah, no, that's awesome that you have so many ideas, especially for something that's not completely related to what we're focused on right now. Obviously, my workshop was also not related at all to anything related to tech.
It was nice though.
It was great. I got everyone to stretch their fingers, so I was like,
heard
okay.
about that.
I'm glad I made some news, but we have some rapid fire questions for you guys.
Uh-huh.
Just some really
Hit
chill
me.
questions.
Day or night?
Night.
Day or night?
Night.
Night?
Yeah.
You know what? Night. Okay.
Night.
Because
I love my night.
I interpreted the question in a different way, but I'm a night owl. So yeah.
Alright.
Perfect. I think most uni students.
Yeah, I'd say so. Totally a question I can totally understand, but favorite programming language?
TypeScript.
Totally know what that is. Yup. Continue.
C++.
All right. I actually know that one.
TypeScript is like JavaScript, but with types, and it's
Oh.
amazing.
Oh, wow. Yes.
By the way,
And I know
to me,
what
this is
both of
gibberish
those
because
are.
I don't understand web dev.
Oh, I don't know what
JavaScript,
any
you know
of
what
this
JavaScript
is.
I know what JavaScript. I'm just.
It's
I'm acting dumb. I know what JavaScript.
You know what types are?
Listen. All right.
Are they like
Like
classes?
types, like you know, like in
What diff is
object-oriented
different, bro?
programming language, you have like
Yeah.
types, like you know,
This is rapid.
All right. This
like
is rapid fire. We're
integer,
gonna keep
number, like
going.
that kind of stuff.
Best Hack the Hill experience.
You mentioned the rave where you were dancing and coding at the same time.
I don't know if that's my best experience.
Best memory.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that could be.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What about you?
The closing ceremony
Oh, nice. All right.
Interesting.
felt emotional.
You guys have any questions for us?
You know what was another one?
Rapid.
Checking in people. That was really fun.
Yeah?
Checking in people to get to the event.
All right. Any rapid fire questions for us?
You get question each, max.
What do you guys think of physical marketing, as in banners, flyers, posters, stuff like that?
Love it.
It's still alive. I mean, we're focusing on digital, but that's still an aspect that we have to do.
Fire.
Yeah. I go to a lot of things because I see like a poster for it, so I think it's a great idea. Yep.
Stay tuned. We have something cooking for you guys.
What was your favorite event at Hack the Hill?
Honestly, just seeing everybody hungry after they've been coding for like 12, 15 hours and just giving them the food and just seeing them very happy because, you know, they feel like they deserve it after all the hard work they put in.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the best. And definitely the rave. The rave was pretty fun.
Yes.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Hell no.
Yes.
I think
We have a
yes.
difference of opinion.
Hell
Yes.
to the
Definitely locked on
no.
that.
Nope.
But thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot for having us. I've had a blast.
Yeah.
Same here.
And if you guys want to, I forgot what I wanted to say. That's crazy.
All right. So we're
Well,
ending it there
We're ending all
then.
that. It's fine.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Later.
Yeah, thank you.